Welcome to day 12 of the 60 Days to Automate Challenge. And today we're going to be talking about blogs, brainstorming them, researching them, and writing them. So today, this week, we're going to be focused on content creation automation. So this is days 11 through 15 this week. Yesterday, we created personas for our new company that we're going to be using throughout this challenge called Travel Smart AI. We created a few different personas for the low cost adventure traveler, the family traveler, and the business executive or luxury traveler, but more focused towards the people booking it rather than the people traveling. Today, we're going to be talking about writing blog posts. So now that we have this business idea, now that we know who our target audience is, we need to start gathering attention for this business. Anytime you start a new adventure business, you want to see if there's any interest in this and also see if you can reach that target audience. And the best way to do that and the cheapest way to do that is blogging. It's one of the easiest ways to just get started. So our goals today is to using is we're going to talk about best cases or best use cases for brainstorming blog ideas and creating outlines. We're also going to use AI to research your blog content from the web. And we're also going to talk about what are some of the best practices to use while writing blog posts using the AI. So first, what are some of the benefits? One of the biggest benefits is in today's business, you have to be able to execute quickly. When there's a new trend, trends don't last that long anymore. They're within hours, within days. You want to be able to quickly jump on these trends and write blog posts so that you can share that on your social media channels, which we'll be talking about tomorrow. So that you can jump on these trends, so that you can join the conversation and really have your voice heard in the conversation that's already being had. It's also going to just save time and really enhance your blog's credibility because we're going to be using some search techniques for being able to get actual cited sources, to be able to enhance it with both links from your own blog and from blogs from around the web. And then really reducing the amount of time it takes to do well-researched blog posts that aren't just generic and AI generated. And then also too, by blogging and producing high quality content, which I'm going to show how to do in this process, it's going to position you as a thought leader, all with just minimal manual input. And what you're going to see is throughout this process is that this is about streamlining your research, helping to start you with a first draft. This isn't about generating hundreds of blog posts. Any YouTube video or anyone that's saying, "Oh, I generated these 1,000 blog posts and look at the dollar signs." That's just not going to happen, right? This is about how you can use AI to produce high quality content, not just these generic blog posts that anyone can write with a prompt. All right. So what are the different ways that AI can help with blog writing? Well, first off is just generating ideas. It can be used to brainstorm ideas based off your target persona, really help you with that blank screen. Hey, what do I want to write about? What is my content calendar look like? How many blog posts do I have for one persona versus another persona? These are all things that you can train your AI, which we'll see in today's lesson, so that you can generate new ideas based off of the target personas and to also fill gaps in your current content strategy with new ideas. You can also, the whole reason we started yesterday with personas is because you can create really detailed persona-based content. A good example of this is think about the three personas we have for Travel Smart AI. We have the adventurous, budget-conscious traveler, the family traveler, and the business executive. When those three types of personas travel, everything is different, from where they're going to the tools they use to research before they go and book, to what they do, to if they have schedules or not, to how long they stay, to what are the combinations need to be. These are all different questions that those personas would have within Inside of Travel Smart AI. And that's where you can then create a blog post for each one of those so that you can then join the conversation through search engine optimization, which we'll learn later in the advanced marketing time of this. How do you actually, get these to start to rank? Right now, we're just going to be focusing on just the writing process to get yourself into that process of writing blog posts. Then there's also automated web research. So in order to have a really good blog post, you want to thoroughly research it, ideally from your own lived experience through experiences that perhaps your customers have, but then also from information around the web, not just creating, hey, give me a blog post with some generic tips, right? That's not what we're doing here. We're creating blog posts that are thoroughly researched, that have very detailed information from my own experience, so that it can really make it unique. Because one of the things that AI has done is made it so that you can just create cookie cutter content right out of the gate, which means there's going to be a flood of it, which means you have to add your own either personal lived experience, your customers' experience, and then you also have to research this across the web. Also, too, we can use it for turning those outlines into detailed drafts. You're always going to hear me say draft. I really, really do not recommend, and I have tests that can prove this, which we're going to talk about when we get into the analytics portion of this course. Is if you just try to go for quantity in blogs, you're not going to rank. You're just wasting your time. You want to create drafts. You want to create drafts of blogs that then you continue to improve on, make better, correct, add additional context, have your creative wit, your personality. These are things that once you actually start writing, and if you've already written blogs before, it'd be great to use those as writing examples, and we'll see that in one of the future sessions as well. But the purpose of this is to get you on third base, right? You have a draft that's ready to go, that's been well researched, not to have even a final product ready to publish. And at the end of the day, if you follow these best practices, it will ensure that your content remains original, engaging, and sets you up as a thought leader. So let's jump in. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use AI to generate blog post ideas and persona-based outline. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sidekick. We're going to call this the blog writer. So if you remember, I just come in here, I type in sidekick. I have mine, but there's also this sidekick starter chat flow. Here, I'm going to go ahead and clone this. And I'm going to add today's date and time as the custom tool, just so it always has that date and time. Answer AI, and for the credential. And we're not going to edit this system message just yet, but I am going to save it and call this blog writer site. All right. So we have the blog writer sidekick, and the blog writer sidekick is going to be the sidekick that we use for creating all of these items. So how do we do that? Well, first thing that we want to do is to look it up to our personas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Airtable. And if you remember, we put all of our personas in this Airtable table here. So we have name, their demographics, their psychographics, the media consumption, their pain points, and their purchasing process. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do for this is actually, I'm going to remove chat. I'm going to remove OpenAI. Tell you the truth, what I have preferred is on the chat models. We set it up. I'm going to use Anthropic instead and connect my Anthropic key and connect this to the tool calling chat model. And for this one, I'm going to choose the latest, which is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. To be honest, this is just a personal preference. I personally like and think that it's a little bit more thorough. I like its writing style a little bit better, but once again, this is all personal preference. Experiment with the different models. Over here on the left, it's not just OpenAI, but with Answer AI, you can use all different types of models. And there's, if you ever have any questions about what they are, you can just go over here. You can use for chat. You can just come in here and ask our support bot, which will show you what are the different options that you can try out. So now that we've used Chat Anthropic, I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to update this. I'm going to ask, what time is it? Just so I can make sure that this is actually working. Based on the tool results, the current time is 4:14 Pacific time on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. That is correct to the second. All right, so we have our tool and it is working. So what we're going to do is, we're going to pull up our N8N, and today we're going to create a new workflow. As you remember, these workflows will all be available at digitalatscale.com for anyone that just wants to create these or use these and import them. So we're going to say day 12, blog writing. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a tool in this one to get our personas. We want to simply just have a tool that we can use to grab our personas. Well, we actually don't need, there's a couple different ways that we can do this. And the way that we're going to do it is using our document stores so that we can use this later. So what I'm going to do here is I'm pausing because I think that I might change this a little bit differently. Thing about automation, one, I go into these and I don't know what exactly, I know what I'm going to do, but I want to do this live because I want to go through all the challenges with these pieces. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can create a document store, which we have our business documents. We can create personas for each one of these, and then just basically have each of the personas be essentially, I think that's what I'm actually going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say travel smart. So we have the business items. Now I'm going to say personas. I'm going to put them all in one for right now. So I'm just going to say customer personas. Add this. We now have this customer personas. And when I go in here, I can just say add document loader and I can just say Airtable. And from here, I can just choose my digital at scale Airtable because I've already set this up. Didn't go back to day 5 where we set this up, and I need to put in a few items here. So we have our base ID. You remember base is Travel Smart AI, and you get that in this part of the URL. I don't know if there's another place to get this information. I've always just gotten it from I don't know if there is. So let me just talk about this URL here. So you have the Airtable, let me just copy this and put it over here so you can see. Right. You have airtable.com. Then you have this part right here. This is app.dk. Anything that starts with an app, that's the base ID. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this as the base ID. And see right here, TBL, the next piece, table, RK, this, put that here. And then the view ID. So this is VIW and then whatever's there. So you can quickly just go in here and see which view, which table, which base. And then you can say include only the different types of fields. You can limit it. You can include other metadata, things like that. But for this case, I'm just going to preview this. And so it said that I got a 401 error. It usually means that. So let's go check to make sure that we have our API key set up correctly. So we go over here to accounts and we go to Builder Hub. And here we have these two. So I'm going to move this actually over here real quick. I think I did. I reset these every now and then for a few reasons. We'll definitely run into this as we go. I'll show you what I do. All right, so I had to just go in and redo my, let me check real quick. So in order to do that, if you're in Airtable, just a quick recap, what you need to do is go up here to your name up in the top right, choose Builder Hub, and then over where this is, if I go over to the right, you can see regenerate token. It'll give you a new token. You also want to make sure that in here, it has all of the right scopes added for writing records, comments, spaces, webhooks, managing blocks, and user emails. So make sure that it has all of this. And then also too, that it has access to all current and future bases in this workspace. You can of course lock that down in future, but for this, just make sure that's there. So now that we have this here, I have our three personas in here. We have the characters and we can see what's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and process this. So now we have our customer personas in a document store. So now I can do one of two things. So I'm going to go back into our blog writer sidekick. And I think for the purposes of this, I'm not going to use a tool agent, actually. I'm going to use a different one because I think during this process, well, I'm just going to show the different items and then we'll create a tool agent towards the end that puts them all together because you can use these different items, but I want to show you what I mean. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to delete the tool agent. I'm actually going to create an LLM, conversational agent. Nope, not conversation agent, conversation chain. And I'll tell you why, and I don't need this day's date. I don't think I'll need the day's date time, but for this one and for the outline, I'm just going to just have something that I just work with. I'm going to hook that up to here, that model in the memory, and then I'm going to choose a prompt template. And here, I'm just going to go in and add this to here. I'm just going to add a system message here. You are, and actually, we have one of these in. So if you type blog, you'll actually see there is a blog outline creator sidekick in here that you can clone and make yourself. And if we look at this template right here, I'm just going to actually just copy this and put it into ours. So here we have your task with creating an outline for a blog post based on a provided topic and users instructions. Your goal is to generate a well-structured, comprehensive outline that can serve as a foundation for writing an informative and engaging blog post based on the users on the requested customer persona. We're going to enhance this prompt a little bit because this one was just like, hey, give me a topic, I'll give you an outline. It's a great starter. But for this, we're going to actually move this to the user prompt. And then we're giving it some instructions to say, to create the blog outline, follow these steps. Analyze the given topic and identify 3 to 5 main points or subtopics that should be covered in the blog post. For each main point, come up with 2 to 3 supporting ideas or examples. Develop a catchy title for the blog post that accurately reflects the content and appeals to the target audience. Create an introduction section that hooks the reader and briefly introduces the topic. Organize the main points into a logical order, ensuring a smooth flow of ideas throughout the outline. Include a conclusion section that summarizes the main points and provides a clear call to action or final thought. And then I go here and I format your outline using the following structure. So I give it a little bit about how I want the format to be displayed to me. And then when creating the outline, keep the following guidelines in mind. Ensure that each main point directly relates to the overall topic. Use clear and concise language for each point and subpoint. Maintain consistency and the level of detail across all sections. Consider the target audience and customer profile or persona and their potential interests or pain points. Aim for a balanced structure with similar depth for each main point. And please provide your complete blog with outline tags. Begin the title followed by the structure described as above. I'm going to add, and then I'm going to add something else here. At the end, please create a bullet point list of items I need to research on the web to enhance this blog post. So this would be maybe some ideas of things that I can research that's going to inform the next agent or sidekick. We're going to save this, and we're now going to go in here and we're going to put the topic for the blog post is this topic. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now, if I go in here and I say, just clear this out here, and I just ask it, write a blog about traveling to Thailand. Oh, missing value for input variable topic. That's a very good point. So whenever you see this, so if you notice here, remember from our previous sessions that anything that is in between these little curly braces here is a variable, and it says we haven't defined it. So topic here has nothing. So in this case, I'm going to say it's what the user's question is from the chat box. I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to save. Now I'm going to say the same thing. Write a blog post about travel to Thailand. So here it's giving me a blog post. It's giving me the most generic of generic items that you can think of. So introduction, hook, capture the essence of Thailand's unique blend, best time to visit, peak, very practical transportation options, international flights, all this stuff. This is a basic outline. We want to make this a little bit more, one, let's make it so that it's with bullet points. So we'll go ahead and save that so we get a little bit better. Write a blog post about travel to Thailand. That should make hopefully the outline a little bit. Oh no, it didn't. We want to enhance this with the persona. So how do we do that? Well, we can go in here, and if we were just using Airtable, we could just say, hey, grab this document loader. I don't think that this one actually has the ability to do a text one. No, it does not. It only outputs it as a document. So we're going to go and we're going to use our document store of the personas that we created earlier. So we have this document loader, and then just go here and we're going to choose our document store. Now we just attach that to this thing that says format prompt value. So I just dragged our document store from here. I'm going to choose my customer personas, and I dragged it from here to here. The other thing that is very important that you do is change this from document to text. If you don't do that, you will receive an error message, something like JSON. Like I said, all of these as well can be, right, to that. Let me have that document store again. All right. So now what we have to do though is we have to reference it in our prompt. So here, I'm just going to say personas, and I'm just going to give it a variable. So here, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm just going to say an open curly bracket, personas. And I'm just going to call it that. Once again, I just like this part right here is to just tell this is just context. This is not part of your instructions. This is just documents, or in this case, personas. You don't want it to confuse what it's saying. Hey, here's some information that I want you to use, and here are your instructions. So it's just separating that. This is what's called a variable. So it's saying, hey, I want to put this in my prompt in this area. So if I save this, now when I go in here and I click on prompt values, I have to hit this little plus. And this is how you can build very detailed prompts. So if I go here, I just put in personas. And now when I click on the edit button next to personas, I'm in format prompt values. And I now go down, I now see this document store. And I'm going to save it. So now when I ask that same question, I'm just going to say I want to add for which persona I want. Thailand's for the budget adventure persona. I'd say give me ideas about blogs I can write for the budget traveler to Thailand. So here it's giving me a much more, I'm going to change how this format is not working for me. All right. So I added a little area down here for, and include bullet points for formatting so that it's not all in one item. Here in this test one, it kind of does that with Flowise, but it should look fine in the Answer AI one. So here we go. That's a much easier to view when it was all in one. Excellent. So now what we have is a much more robust. So basically we have the ultimate budget travel guide to Thailand, how to experience paradise without breaking the bank. Why it's budget travelers. So this is just a much more robust outline. So, and then we have here what research we need to do. So the current visa fees and requirements for Thailand, the latest prices for hostels and budget accommodations in different regions, updated transportation costs, current street food and local restaurant prices, free attraction entrance and operating hours, local SIM card. Look at all these ideas that it says you can actually go and research for your blog post. Well, this would take a long time to go do. So what I'm going to do is actually go in here and copy these out, and we're going to do a couple of different things. So we can go and create a web research sidekick, and that's what I'm going to do here using the EXA one that we did from yesterday. Let me just go over here, and we're going to have our persona sidekick. Actually, I'm just going to create a web research sidekick by choosing the sidekick starter flow, and I'm going to use as a new flow. And I'm going to give it this one. I am going to give the current day and time, and I'm going to give it the EXA search. All right, we have a web research sidekick. So here's what I can do to this tool agent is I'm going to say you're a basic tool agent. Here I'm going to say you are a web research agent with access to a set of tools. Your role is to assist users by selecting and using the appropriate tool based on their query. Here are the tools available to you. Today, I'm going to say web search, web search, query. When a user presents a query, follow these steps, analyze it here. I'm just going to say research the web, one topic at a time. Return the results to the user with a summary of the results and links below. All right. We're just going to go ahead and start this on a basic item where we just have just web research. And what I'm going to do is start a document. So we have, and we'll go over how to automatically publish all of these. We have our Travel Smart AI. I'm going to start a new folder. I'm going to call it blogs. And I'm going to just create a new outline here. So we go here and actually, all right, we're going to do another idea. So because I don't have the history there. And we're going to copy it in there. All right, create outline for the budget adventure traveler. All right, so now it's creating this outline for us and putting down the research needs. So this time I'm going to go in here and I'm going to copy this into Word. So one of the things that you're going to notice here is that when I copy this in here, you see this kind of black. Just go to Format, Clear Formatting, and I'll remove that. All right, then we have our outline and we have our research needs. So one of the nice things about this is that we can go in here and we can go based off the young budget-friendly traveler persona. I create an outline targeting their specific needs and interests. So we have the outline and we have these needs here as well. And yeah, so let's go to our other agent. Where did it go? All right, we're gonna go into the web research sidekick. And I'm writing a blog post titled, and of course you can adjust this title, but basically I'm just going to give it the title, and I want to research different items for it. I will give you a topic and you will research that and give me a response. And these are all things that you can put into the instructions like what we did. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to be very specific so that it does it. So the first item is, I'm just going to go over here, current statistics on youth, trends, and spending patterns. All right, so now this is going to go through and it's going to give me just some more information that's on here. So we can go here. Hey, despite having lower incomes, more than half of Gen Z adults are frequent travelers, often taking 3 or more leisure trips annually. They're close to millennials in travel frequency. They're more inclined to spend on travel experiences, cutting back on non-essential. And it just goes through here and gives me the information summarized and then direct links to these blog sources so that you can link to them inside of your blog, because you want to have definitely links to your blog, but you also want to link out to further information. It helps Google and other search engines know what your blog is about. You could just go through here one by one and let's just say the latest average costs for different types of accommodations. Let's say current travel reward credit card offers and benefits. So you can go in here. And one of the things that we can do, though, that you're probably already thinking based off what we've already done, is that you can automate this. You can just set it up and create a process that will just go through here and create this for us. So one of the things it looks like I noticed is that it didn't have, it said to 2023. So here it gave a couple of different sources. So if I go in here and I go to this source, when's this from? November 4th, 2024. So this is actually really updated. It was just updated yesterday. So these are the most up to date, even though it kind of at the top, what did it say about 2023 and their benefits in 2023? So this is one of the things too that I'd probably go in and adjust my tool agent to say if the user asks for up to date information, use the today's date and time tool. All right. So how do we automate this so that it just creates these for you? And that's going to be what we look at next. So we just hooked up our web research sidekick and we have our outline sidekick. But how can we use this to create an outline and kind of research for the blog post? So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so next, now that we have our web research, we're going to go in here into Airtable and we're going to open and we're going to say, we're going to create a form here because I'm going to create a webhook. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make this webhook a post, because we're going to make this a tool that our blog writing agent can use, our sidekick. And we're going to have it respond on this one. We're going to say, the reason I'm hesitating is because for this one, we may want to have it respond immediately. The reason being is because it may take a while for this to run. Generally, if it's going to take longer than a minute to run, which this may, we would want to say just immediately. So it's like, hey, it kicked off the process. Here in Airtable is where you need to go to see it. So let's do that one, because we've had these all respond with a webhook node, but for this one, we're going to have it respond immediately, because really we just want the tool to just kick off the process, which create the outline, do our web research, and then eventually just write the first of our blog post. So we go in here. So we've created our webhook. The next thing we're going to want to do is to call answer, and we're going to call this blog writer sidekick. For the purposes of this demonstration, and probably just as well, at the end, please create a bullet point list of 2 items I need to research on the web to enhance this blog post. All right. So we have this. We're going over. We've now created the blog outline. We now have a research tool. So let's go to a place where we're going to store this. So we already have our folder for blogs. So when this happens, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new document. So in this case, I'm going to say document, Google Docs. I'm going to say create a document. And we're going to ensure that this is in the Travel Smart AI. I don't know why my blogs one is not there. I don't know why that's not there. So let's just grab the ID. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go and I'm going to test this and see if it actually creates a test doc in here. I'm going to say test doc. Go here. It's executing. It's still waiting. All right, let's just stop, test this workflow. All right, before I do that, I'm going to add another trigger here, the trigger manually one. So it can either be triggered manually or by the workflow. So I'm going to say test. I'm going to disable the webhook for now, just because there. All right, test. All right. Hey, look at that. We got our test doc. All right, it's working. Hello world. All right, so we're going to want to create a document. Now that's going to be what we want to do last. So what are we going to want to do in between? So with that, we are going to want to add a little plus here. We're going to use the HTTP request module. And in here, we're going to go over to our blog writer sidekick. I'm going to go ahead and just make them public right now. You can always add an API key, but for the purposes of this one, I'm going to just make it public. And if I click on this CURL tab and just hit this clipboard, this will give me something that I can go in here and then just when I'm in innate say import your URL and import. That's it. So it automatically created the information that it needed to have. And really what I need to put here is going to be the tool like for the topic that I wanted to explore. So there we go. So then this is going to return, and we can test this by simply changing this out. So let's say a blog about Thailand for executives. So we're now testing this, making sure that everything's running right. This should return us back an outline with the items that we need to research. Based on the executive travel booker, I'll create an outline. Here it is. Here's the outline. And down here, key research needed. Latest statistics on Thailand's business infrastructure development and investment in luxury business facilities. Yeah. All right, cool. So it gave me those two. So now that I've tested this, we want so this is going to create a doc, and then we're going to say update a document. You have to create it, then update it with the information. So here we're going to say that this is going to be coming in here as text. We want to insert. So you can all do a couple different things. You can insert it. You can find and replace the text. Where do you want to insert it? Into the header, the body, the footer. You can say at a specific position or index. And then what text do we actually want to input? So the things that we need to get are the document ID and then the text. So the document ID is going to come from the automation that created the document. And then this text is going to come from the response from the AI. So we've now created this. Actually, I'm going to have it do that. Created the doc and this. Okay. So what this should do is if I click on test, it should open that up, create the doc, and then, let's actually move this here and save it. So this should go fired off from Answer AI, click the Google Doc, and then try to update it, but it's not going to update it with anything because it doesn't have the document ID, so it's going to fail. But and this is one of the things I don't really care for you have to execute the previous nodes, even though it's already been executed. So I have to run it again. So it's executing now, and it should populate in here with the doc. There we go. So we have the doc ID that we can just drag in here and the text. So we're going to say the text is going to go into here. Now, it's really up to you. One of the things you're going to notice as well, so let me just delete some of these if it's creating these docs. Oh, no, it did. Move to trash. Here we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and test this. And what we should have now is it should create the document and then update it with the actual update. So let's go here, creating a blog post outline and all that information. And then it should create the document and then update it in Google Docs. All right. So now we have this test doc and we have our outline. So as you can see here, we have based on the executive travel persona. Here it is. Here's our Thailand. Here's our introduction. So now what I can do is I can just come in here and I can edit this. I can, make it my own. I can start playing with it and making sure that it's going to actually cover the ideas that I want. I can use another Sidekick or other AI tools to streamline this. But this is ready for research, right? I've created the outline. Great. Now I want to research this document. So let's do that next, and let's have it, what I'm going to want to do is have it go through and research these two items. So I'm going to send over this outline to our web research sidekick. Let me just open this up. I want to share it. Hit the little share chatbot, go to the curl, get the clipboard, and I'm going to update this so that after it's created this, now it's going to go and do the research. So here I'm going to do another HTTP request, and I'm going to choose this import curl, and I'm just going to paste in what I just got from Answer AI. And now I have this. So now one of the things that you're going to see is I'm just going to test this to make sure that it's working correctly. I'm going to take let's just take this first one, this current Thailand elite membership tiers and privileges, including their latest fast track immigration services and business networking opportunities. So let's go here to this. I'm going to put this value in here. This would, of course, come from the information that was sent. So we're going to go ahead and test this step. Try again. It says that it's executing correctly, but I do not see that it is actually returning. And why is that? Okay. I'm going to test this and see. So whenever I have something weird like this happen, because I'm sending the information to it, but it's not returning anything back yet. It's not giving me an error. It's not giving me anything. So what the hell's going on here? So let's figure it out. So I use a tool called Rapid API, which allows me to quickly test API endpoints and get back information on this. So I'm going to choose that. I'll show you here in just a second. I just want to make sure I'm not exposing anything. All right. So we have here error chat flow not found in the database. Interesting. Looks like it's in the database to me. Let's see here. Let me refresh this. Oh, it is not in the database because I used the wrong item. I'm sending it over. Taking a really long time. There we go. So we're getting a response back here with all the information. This is interesting. So when I test this, does it then not want to... All right, I'm going to do this one thing. I'm going to rerun the whole thing. I'm going to delete this document, both of these, and run this whole thing again. I'm very perplexed as to why innate_in is not returning. Answer AI is working just fine. Why is innate_in not doing that? So we're going through, it's grabbing another, adding it to our documents. Hey, this time it's actually going, it looks like. Excellent. So here we're going to get back not just the summary of what the agent did and what the sidekick did, but we're going to get back all the tool information, which is great for context. So here, if we open this up, so we get here, there's a current Thailand elite membership tiers and their privileges. Here are the use tools for it and what the output was. So I'm going to store all of this information in our document. And it has the question, all of this stuff. So great, now that we have this information, we are now going to update the document with it. And here I'm going to use the document ID that is created. And in this one, we're going to insert body at the end. So it's going to insert this at the end of it. And for the text, we're going to add it down here. And we're going to add a little bit of formatting here. We're going to say summary. And then we're going to have a couple lines here. And we're going to say raw output for the search results. And this will be good because it'll be used when we get into the writing process for more information. So I'm just going to take this tool output here. I'm just going to drag it right over here. And now I'm going to test this step to see if it actually updates our document. Let's see. It did not. All right, so let's run the whole thing again. Hate that about this. So what it should be doing is, let's go here, let's save. So grab this. It's getting our outline from Answer AI based off of our prompt. Then it's going to create the document and then update it with that information. It's then going to go and then take that, going to use this information to using this to then research the web. And then it should add this to the bottom of this document when it's done. Awesome. Now, this new test doc. All right, we have our blog outline. We have the key research needed. And here it is. So here's our summary. Oh, here it is, summary. This is where you can also go. So summary, here's the current elite, Thailand elite membership tiers and their privileges, including their latest. So here we're given easy access. So it looks like it's 600,000 baht, elite, ultimate privilege. So now it's given us information that we can actually put in here. So real information so that we can really help our readers. And then down here, it has the information that it got from the search results. So as you can see here, there's a lot of information in this document now. So now that we have this, there's a couple things that we want to do. One, we want to give it a more descriptive name. And then two, we wanted to take this and go ahead and take a stab at writing the first draft. So with that, we're going to go back up here. I love how it says, you're right. Let me focus on even being more. It's already giving. All right. So we now have this. We now have our outline. We now have automated web research and content enrichment. So I just have an idea. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's make it so that the idea actually comes from the webhook and not our hard-coded value. And then that idea is then added as the title. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to go and I'm going to update our webhook. So to do that, we need to go into Answer AI and go to Marketplace Tools. And we're going to select the N8N webhook custom tool and use this template, this green button down here. So here I'm going to say create blog outline. And what this is going to do, useful when you need to create a blog outline that has been web researched. And here I'm going to pass in the title. I'm going to say the title of the blog post to create an outline for. And I'm going to add one more persona. And I'm going to say string. I'm going to say the persona that we will be writing post for. All right, so we now have our input. So we wanted to get from the user the title and the persona we're going to be doing. So, hey, what's your just general idea? And then when we say, hey, use the tool, we want to send it a title and a persona so that we have that will then generate outline. And actually, I'm going to not just have the title and the persona, but I'm also going to say user thoughts, right? Or actually, let's call it summary. And this is where I'm going to take the user's thoughts. Hey, what do you want to write about, right? So as executive in business, like a particular area, and you can create a list of these items, but this is kind of what angle do you really want and to help guide it a little bit. You can add as less as you want. So we go here, the general summary of the blog post the user wants to create. And we are going to make the persona. No, we're going to make both of these not. So, hey, just give me one with this title. We're going to make title required, but if it doesn't have persona or summary, it's just going to choose one. We'll let the AI choose. For production and testing URL, we need to go in here to N8N and double click on webhook. And we have our test URL and production URL. So let's just copy those out. You should be pretty familiar with this now if you've been following along in the 60 days. We go in and we put our production and testing URLs. For the purposes of this, I'm going to comment out the production one so that we can test it and make sure that it's working. We then need to we have our title, persona, and summary parameters we need to replace down here. All right, the order here doesn't really matter. They don't have to be in the same order they are up there. So in case you're wondering, I flipped summary and persona in their orders. They don't have to be. Remember, the only thing that matters is that this value is the same as this $sign value. This can be anything. It's just how you reference it but the only thing $sign is the same. Add here, and this is going to give us our brand new tool. So here, we're going to add this tool to, our chief sidekick had the ability to, get our summary and do all these things. Well, we also wanted to be able to, write blog posts for us. So I'm just going to go in here to the chief sidekick, and I'm going to go in here, add a custom tool. I can either add it from the nodes, or I can just copy it by clicking this little duplicate button. And I'm going to select our new tool, which is and connect this tool to our chief sidekick. So one other thing that I'm going to do is go here, and I'm just going to add this create blog title summary. Well, yeah, at least to process to create a blog post. The reason I say process to create a blog post outline is because if you remember, we set this up to immediately. So in this case, we want to just kick off the process and say, hey, you're going to see it in this folder. We could probably with this one still return with it, with the actual document that it created. And I still might do that at the end of this, depending on how long this takes. But for right now, we just know that it started. So post outline. What I'm going to do is simply just say, create a blog post. I'll get those so I don't get the error, which I almost forgot again, is I'm going to first webhook and then to listen. So here I'm just going to say create a blog post outline. Now it might ask us, hey, the title, summary of where in the target audience. A post about traveling to Thailand as a executive, what cool things you can do if you are traveling conference. Here's this, let me create it. So then it went through, it gave the summary, and it did that. So now if we go over here, great. We now have it creating traveling to Thailand as a business executive, discover the unique and exciting experiences available to business executives traveling to Thailand for a personal conference, and the persona. This is the thing about AI, is it doesn't even need to be the exact same thing, because it's going to then use this information to then go into here about Thailand. For example, I'm just going to say title, pull in the title. If I test this step, you don't have that. Yep. Nothing for title. I apologize, but I noticed you haven't provided the specific title, summary, and blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's delete the, this is ridiculous. All right, so we have that. Instead of for this, we're going to actually put the title as whatever title it brought over. So this has red right now because it hasn't ran yet. We're just kind of filling in the places here. It's going to create that. It's then going to update that document ID. It's then to go in here. One thing that it is going to have is this as soon as we run it. So then it updates it there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to say test workflow, and I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to say try. Whenever I'm testing, I can just say try again. It's going to try to do the same one again and just create the blog post outline. So I say try again. Little tool to be able to test your tools. So it's going in here. It's created that. It's created this outline now and all the things we need to research. Now creating the docs. It's now creating and updating it. It's now researching on the web. And then it's going to update Google Docs based off this information. So, here it is. Traveling to Thailand as a business executive. And I go in here and Beyond the Board Executive's Guide to Maximizing Time in Thailand. Thailand is a premier business conference, blah, 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 all this stuff. And here, we now have our web research again, and then, of course, the raw output. But now that we have this, so instead of just doing this generic web research, I can go in here and I can just pass in. Now, I probably would just want to, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to pass this whole thing in. Probably get it, but this is where you could like research one at a time, have even more research. But for the purposes of this, because I do want to get to the final part, I'm just going to have it research this item. I change this web research tools. Okay, full outline for a blog. Analyze outline. research points suggested. And this is where, once again, you can just pass this information like a document being sent over. You don't have to. You just say, hey, there's some research points in there. Can you research the web one topic at a time? Return the results. Yeah. So we have here. We've up count for that outline of just like some random query, and to look for the research is in here. So this you have, oh geez, why is my 2 items ideally. So let's go in and test that out. So we're going to test this workflow again. I'm going to delete this blog post. 0 blog, and I'm going to say try. So here we're trying our chief sidekick to try the blog outline. It has now kicked off the process again, creating the outline. What comes out the other side of this? Now we have this HTTP request. I'm just kind of curious as to what it says. So here we see use tools. So here we actually got a lot of information. We got like 2 tools worth of information, but the input was Bangkok top business hotels for current pricings, proximity to conference centers. So it actually did that. So now when we go in here and we look at this, let's take a look here, the summary for your blog. Top business hotels situated. So here you could go, it's already done the research for you for different convention centers, the fast track, and it gives you the full on raw input. So now we're going to take this information and we're going to send it to that's going to take this kind of outline and the research and create blogs with engaging intro for that. So to do that, I'm going to create a sidekick, and this time we are going to blog writer sidekick. Is because we have this, and can you do multiple things? You don't want to do too many things, but in this case we wanted to do the outline and then write the full item. Here we're going to update this, and this really gets into this really gets preferences and stuff. So your task an outline for you know what, I am going to just actually make this a blog outline sidekick because we may want to adjust this. I'm going to duplicate this chat flow and I'm going to say my blog writer. All right. So here I just need to connect my credentials and that's it. So here, this automatically has access to the blog writer. And what we're going to do is we are going to pass in something different. And that is we're going to add a plain text item. And what we can do here, we're going to change this to text and we're going to hook this up to the chat prompt template. And in here, we're going to clean out all of this. And we're going to create a prompt that I have saved over here. Let me just grab it real quick for writing blogs. Here's the one that I actually am writing, that I'm actually doing right now for 60 Days to Automate. This is the actual created, so I'm going to change it just slightly to remove some of these things. So don't worry about this. We don't need. You're tasked with creating a comprehensive blog post about travel. Here you can put in structured, engaging, and informative article. All right, so here we're going to say first begin by carefully reading and analyzing the campaign and the following video transcript. So I use the transcripts from this to create these blogs. In this case, we're going to begin by carefully reading and analyzing the outline and the web research, and I'm going to change this to outline, and we're going to put the contents of that document in there. And then I'm going to say, and then I'm also going to, by analyzing the outline, the web research, and the personas. I always put all my personas in and everything that I do and anything, whether it's social media, anything with marketing. That way it's just always, hey, this is what this persona is for. As you analyze the outline, identify the key themes, concepts, and important information related to the outline. Create a comprehensive article based on the outline and the web research. And your guide should be clear, concise, and easy to follow. Break down the article to logical sections, which the outline should probably already have done. Explain any terms or concepts that might be foreign, lack of a better term, to the user. And provide practical tips and traveler best practices. For an introduction, let's say introduction, what's in this article. I always like to have a bullet point list at the top, and this really goes to personal preference. There's a lot of like research that goes into what makes a really good article, and saying what brief introduction, what's at the top. If you're doing a guide, you need prerequisite knowledge, but in this case, we're just going to say section 1. And really, I just do section 1, section 2, etc. It's not really that much. You get it, right? You're going to repeat that. Use headers and subheaders. Create step-by-step instructions where appropriate. Include bullet points and numbered lists where appropriate. Bold important statements and concepts. And use, we don't have any code for this one, so we don't have any code blocks. After review your article, review it to ensure it accurately reflects the information provided in the outline and the web research and is easy to understand for someone or the target persona. Present your final guide. I'm going to remove these because these are more for mine. I'm just going to remove this. You can give it an example. I'm not going to, but in this case, all right. So now we're going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to, just so I don't lose it, that would really suck, copy this out. I'm going to save. All right. So we now have this. And just for purposes of just testing it out, I'm going to take this full, what we have here, and just copy the whole blog post, all 16 pages of it. And I'm going to now put it in this text box here, just so you can see what this is doing. So really all I have to do is say, write the article. Oh, we forgot the input value for outline. If you remember, we forgot that. So we have to go down here to format. So we already have the personas, but in this case, we just have this. So we're going to actually say, we're actually going to make the, you know what? We're actually going to open this up. We have outline, we have personas. So personas been hooked up. We're going to remove topic and we're just going to use outline. And here we're going to hit edit and this is going to be the plain text. All right, so we now have this. Now we can go here, write the article. All right. Oh, okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. So we have this, which is just write the article. Wow. We don't have user input. I forgot to add that. So once again, I forgot to do user input. I attached that to the question in the chat bot. One more time. I have a little button that plays that Daft Punk song every time. Write the blog. Now it's working. So as we can see here, great. A guide to this, what's in this article. We have all of this information, the best pieces, world class, some information on this. Great. We have the key resources, the URLs, and anything else in there. So now we have a blog post that can start us on third base that we can now edit. So now how do we put this into our workflow? Well, what we're going to do is we're actually going to change this around. I just wanted to show you this for this, but after thinking about it, I just want to go in here and I'm going to change it so the personas are always there, but each time the person you just put in the full outline that you want. So I'm going to remove this from here and just put in this. The outline in the user. I'm going to remove the user input and I'm going to choose outline and I'm going to say the question. That way, and all I did there was make it so that if I put in the full outline here, which I would want, so I'm not going to put the full thing in here, but just part of it, what you'll see is that it will just do the same exact thing. And this is important because this is how we're going to be passing it in from innate in our. So you can see it does the same thing. It now takes that outline. So you can also then use it, this Sidekick, as a chatbot and answer AI. Hey, I have an outline. Just give me a quick blog post. You don't have to automate everything to end like we're doing in this case, but you can just use each one of these Sidekicks. Now we have this item. So now we're going to go in and we're going to add our next item, which is a little blog writer. So we go up to here, the little brackets, the little code sign in between the disk and the filters at the top right. And we choose the share chatbot tab. I'm going to make it public. As I mentioned, you can do that, or you have to put authorization on it if you're going to use an API key. But I'm going to then go over to curl, choose this. So I can just import it in there. I'm going to choose the HTTP request, import, and all right. So now what we want this to do is pass in the outline from this one. And this is going to write another. So then we're going to, once again, update our document and we're going to update it. You could create new documents. It's really up to you. Sometimes I even put my outlines just in Airtable so I can rapidly go through and not have a bunch of random documents in my Google Drive for just random ideas, like ones that I actually go to the writing phase. Do I actually put into here? But I just wanted to show you two skills, which is updating the documents in Google Drive, and then also to how to get information back and how to chain these together and do web research. So in this case, we're not going to be able to update it. Actually, I can just copy what's out here for the doc ID, and then we're going to want to insert at index. We're going to say at index 1. We're going to say at index 0. I'm going to say I want this to be at the top, right? So I want, my first draft to be at the top, then underneath it, I want the outline that was generated, and then all the web research below that. So, but it kind of needs the outline to get the web research, and then the web research to write it. So we're just then putting it so that the most important part's at the top. And the text we're going to use is going to be the text that is output here, but for right now we're just going to put in here, hello world, this is my post. So now I'm going to go back over, and now that I have this full workflow built, I am going to first clear out my documents, and I am going to now double click or use test workflow. I'm going to go back over to my chief sidekick and just say, try again. And it's going to try doing the exact same one that we've done. This is now running it. So it's generating the outline, creating and updating the doc. Now doing the web research. Some of these take a really long time to run. Hence why we're not responding immediately, or else our chatbot would hang up. Did the web research, updated the document. Now it's writing the full blog post based off of that. And we should get a hello world to the top. We can watch it in real time. Hello world, this is my post. Look at that. All right, so now that we've ran this whole thing, let's update the hello world with the actual text of this. So we're going to delete that, and we're going to put in this text. And then I'm going to put in a couple of spaces there as well. So now final run, and we'll end it for today. I'm going to go back in, hit save this, test the workflow, tell it to write another blog post. It's going to go through and create that whole thing again. All right, so we have this. We should watch when it's done, it will insert the full blog post at the top, ready for our review. There it is. Thailand for executives, making the most of your business trip. And we now have a detailed blog post written for our target persona that is well researched and can be used as a first draft to really go out and update this. So you can always just adjust it with your own writing styles. In this case, it looks like it's still kind of bullet type list things. So maybe like tell a paragraph. You can experiment with the different writing techniques. But today we've shown you how to generate a sidekick to generate ideas and outlines, how to then take those outlines and research them on the web. And then we've also shown how you can use that information to create first drafts. So if you're looking to start a business, looking to just do a lot of things, to always start is. So now that we have blogs, tomorrow we're going to be on day 13, lucky 13. We're going to be automating social media captions. So now that we have this blog, we're not going to go over how to publish it on the web. There's 1,000,001 website, there about how to get a blog from a Word to it on the web. We will talk about building our own website in week 10. But for this case, we're going to assume that you already have the Squarespace or WordPress, or if you need a more enterprise account, feel free to reach out. And we're going to go over then how you can use AI to generate social media captions for the different types of posts that you're going to be doing for this blog. So thank you everyone for attending, and have a great day.